guys, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. If you're a subscriber to this channel, you know that I can't really stick to anything for a very long time on here. But for the most part, this channel is just random shit, whatever I feel like posting. So today I'm going to be starting a new series of book reviews. I used to love reading as a kid. My nose was always in a book. That's just how I was. And I think I was in high school when I just didn't have the time to be reading. I was just involved in too many things, in extracurriculars, keeping my grades up, and in college as well. I was just on the go all the time. I haven't had time to read for pleasure for a good probably like 10 years. I just recently started getting back into reading, and I wanted to join the YouTube community of book fanatics on here that I found. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my first book review, as you can see from the title, and yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So today I'm going to be talking about this book right here, The 4 Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin. This is categorized as a psychology personality book. I guess that's what drew me to it, is the fact that I have a thing for psychology. I have a thing for learning about people and how people work and how people think. A little backstory for how I found this book. I follow a lovely lady on Instagram and on YouTube. Her name is Bohoberry. I will leave her link to her Instagram and her YouTube down below. She's really great. I follow her because she's a really great, creative, organized person. She's a bullet journaler, so if you're into bullet journals and planning and stuff like that, then she's a really great channel to go check out. But yeah, in the summer, she had posted a picture of this book and saying that she was reading it, and she had suggested that if we were curious about the book, that we should take this quiz, and she posted the link to the quiz. So I took the quiz, and after that I was pretty much very intrigued by what this book had to say. I put it on my wish list of things that I want to get, and I kind of just forgot about it until a couple months later. I think it was in October that I was at Target and just looking around the books. I wasn't really planning on buying anything. I was just at Target to buy necessities. But this book, this was the only copy left on the shelf, and it was half off. And I'm not gonna lie, this book is kind of expensive. It's $24 US. That's kind of steep for a book, in my opinion. Yeah, it's hardcover, but that's still a lot to me. So the fact that it was half off and it was the only one on the shelf, I just knew I had to get it or else I was gonna regret it. So that's what I did, got it, and one of the best decisions I've made. I loved this book. The way that this book works, there's a dog hair sticking out of it, is at the beginning she talks about what the 4 tendencies are. Then she gives you the link to the quiz, but she also has the quiz printed in the book if you wanted to do it by hand, so you can find out what your tendency is. And the 4 tendencies are right here at the very inside of the book, the very first page. You have upholder, you have obliger, you have rebel, and you have questioner. What those things mean, those are just the names of the categories, but if you're an upholder, you have no problem meeting either inner nor outer expectations. If you have motivation in any way, you'll get something done. Obligers, that's me. We have no problem meeting outer expectations. In other words, if I have a deadline, I have a homework assignment that's due or a paper, I will have no problems meeting that deadline. But inner expectations are a lot more difficult for me as an obliger. I look for accountability. So for me, I really want to eat healthy, for example, but because I'm only answering to myself, I have trouble meeting that expectation. Does that make sense? Then you have questioner, who is the opposite of the obliger. They have no problem meeting inner expectations, but they have a lot of trouble meeting outer expectations. And lastly, we have rebels, who just don't like meeting expectations at all. If there are rules, they don't want to follow them. And upholders are like the angels here. They love rules. So then the book goes into the next section, which is breaking down each of the 4 tendencies. Like I said, upholders meet inner and outer expectations. If they tell themselves, I'm going to eat healthy, they will eat healthy. The problem with upholders is that people think that they're a little uptight. They don't sympathize with any of the other tendencies, especially obligers. Like, they don't understand why somebody would need accountability. They don't understand it. They don't understand why rebels can't just follow the rules. The obligers, like me, we wish that we could be upholders. We wish that we could just get out there and do the things that we want to do. Some obligers want to write a book, for example, but if they don't have like an editor or someone to tell them, oh, I need this chapter done by this date, the obliger is just gonna get writer's block. They're gonna have no accountability, and they'll get stuck. That's just how it is. Because the way I think as an obliger is, for example, exercising. I said that I was gonna wake up at 8 and I was gonna go for a run. But if I wake up at 8:30, I tell myself, oh, it's too late, you missed your chance. Besides, who are you disappointing? Just yourself. That doesn't matter. So you could just stay home, just go back to sleep. That's just how I think, and it's so frustrating. I wish I could just make myself do things. Questioners, on the other hand, no problem meeting the inner expectations, but they have to have reasons to do things. They ask a lot of questions, and people get annoyed by them often. They're the whiny little kid that asks, why? 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 If there's a new rule in the office, they're going to be the ones to ask, well, what's the reason that you're putting in this new rule? What's wrong with the old rule? They just have to have a lot of information before they decide to meet expectations. And rebels, I can sympathize with rebels. If somebody tells them to do something, they're more likely to not do it. Which I feel like a lot of us can get into that position sometimes. When I was a kid, I would think to myself, you know what? I'm going to do something nice. I'm going to wash the dishes for my mom without her asking me. And then right before I'm about to do it, my mom says, hey, wash the dishes. Why don't you do anything around here? And then I'm just like, well, now I don't want to do it. Like, I was going to do it for you, but now I don't want to because you told me to. I don't know how many people can sympathize with that, but that's the rebel thought process. Even if they decide to do something like washing the dishes, or if they decide, I'm gonna go to the gym all the time, if somebody suggests it to them, now they don't want to do it because they feel like somebody is controlling them. They don't like to be controlled. They want to be free. They want to do whatever the hell they want. After she goes through all 4 tendencies, the pros and the cons of each tendency, she also breaks it down into how to interact with other tendencies. She talks about how to interact with a tendency at work. She talks about how to interact with a tendency as your spouse, and also as a child, if you're raising a child, which I thought was really nice. It helps me understand my relationship with my boyfriend a lot more. We're both obligers, and that's almost like the best pairing that you could possibly get. We understand the way the other person thinks, so there's not a lot of arguing going on. Whereas if you have 2 different tendencies, unless you know how the other person thinks, you're gonna clash a lot because you're thinking, why can't you be like me? Does that make sense? Then also at the very end, she goes into the different combinations of partners, of pairings. So she'll break them all down, like upholder, questioner, upholder, obliger, upholder, rebel. She'll talk about each different pairing, how they could possibly work together, and how it could possibly just be a real big mess. I gave this book a good 4 stars. I wouldn't say that it's one of my favorite books I've ever read, but it's really close to being there. Typically my favorite books are fiction, but it's very, very good, very, very informative. I'm already finding myself recommending it to family members. I just feel like it has changed the way I look at people, and I wish that this was something that we implement in like the workplace, because I feel like it would help people be better bosses and better co-workers if we knew how other people work. So I gave this book a good 4 stars. If you are interested in this book, I will link it down below in the description. I will also link the quiz. You can figure out who you are, and the quiz will also give you some information about the book to help get you a little bit more interested in it. So yeah, that is The 4 Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin. Awesome, awesome read. There's also an accompanying app for this, actually, which I have, so that you can engage with other people who've read the book, with other people of your same tendencies, so that you can, you know, talk about your different problems and issues and find out new ways to deal with things in life. Just a really great book. I recommend to anybody who maybe just needs a little bit more of a push to get their life in order. You feel like you're in a rut, you can't get yourself motivated to do things. I think this is a really good book for you to pick up and read. Anyways, I hope that you guys like this video. I'm sorry if it was a mess. I feel like I should have taken a nap before I did this. I feel very like fuzzy. My train of thought is not going in a straight line. It's going everywhere. I feel like I'm just gonna go sit down and play some Sims or Animal Crossing, because my brain is just, it's not here today. Maybe I chose a bad day, but I hope that this was a cohesive review in some way, or at least it got you interested in the book. If there's a book that you want me to read, then please leave a suggestion. I love fiction, I love astrology, psychology, horror, sometimes romance. I like a good Nicholas Sparks book every once in a while. Yeah, you can kind of see a collection here. Not all of these are just mine. A lot of these books are also my boyfriend's, like all of his comics are up here. Yeah, but we can do a tour in the future if that's what if you guys want. But yeah, tell me what you guys thought of this. This is all new to me. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!